Hello, friends on the internet. Holistic Brothers here coming at you with some hot and spicy health content.
Yeah, for once, this is a little different of an episode. A bunch of listeners sent us in some questions. We've just not been getting around to them quite yet. And here we are today. We're going to hit these questions right off the top of our heads. Can't stress enough how little we're going to think about this.
Yeah, so keep that in mind. So I got some compiled. These are some questions over the years. Nick's going to be slightly surprised by some of these, perhaps. All right, first question. People talk about how the body keeps the score. Great book.
That is a good book.
How does this happen and where? Well, I'm assuming in the body, but Nick, why don't you take this one?
Yeah. Well, there's a great book called The Body Keeps the Score, and everyone should read that. It's a really, really good book. I forget the name of the author.
Vanderhooten, it's my guess.
Yeah,
that's not right.
There's a Van in there, I think, in the beginning of the last name. Well, here's the thing. We're made up of conscious brain, subconscious, and unconscious. And, we've all heard the saying that, there's like 10%, you use 10% of your brain. A lot of people say that, which is totally false. But consciously, yeah, that's true. You don't use a whole lot of your brain on a conscious level. 90% of our brain is going to the subconscious, which is, heart rate, it's breathing, it's all the things happening in the background. But it also houses a lot of emotions. It houses, a lot of these deep feelings of emotion and physiology. So that's where it kind of combines. The same part of the brain is really dealing with both of these things. And this is why we store trauma in our body. And I think that book, it really highlights like trauma, right? And
it's very much about how trauma or traumatic experiences, which could just mean any experience you couldn't process in real time, meaning it was more than you can deal with, which could have been physical trauma, largely mental, emotional, and it's how the lasting effects linger on throughout your life unless they're resolved, right? So this has to do with things like adverse childhood experiences, things you couldn't process as a kid, too complicated, too horrible in some cases, and then later in life, they're still manifesting in physiological expression. So it is a good book. I think could be a little bit hard for non-practitioners to read because he goes into a lot of studies and he goes into some stories of his clients that are hard to hear. So it might need an update. Maybe we write one and we call it Hips Don't Lie.
That's better.
All right.
Yeah. Or we just completely
don't take my idea.
Piggyback off him and we just say part 2 and get in a legal battle. We'll work out the details later.
Okay. Wonderful. Next question. Ready for this one, Nick? We'll do.
Am I supposed to be reading over your shoulder?
No. All right. What does it mean to be healthy? Kind of abstract, but that's something people like. What is healthy? Is it a checkbox? Yes or no? Are you healthy? Are you not? What is it?
Well, yeah, I think I get this question a lot in my office. I mean, a lot of people are asking, and we thought about it a lot as doctors. So I would say if I'm going to summarize health in the shortest possible way, in one word, if you will, I would put it as adaptability. I think the more adaptable we are, that directly correlates with health. So our nervous system, our brain is kind of the powerhouse of our health and how things are going in our body. And its job is to adapt us in all circumstances. And so, and not just on that level, of me just physically adapting to this room or whatever, but on an emotional level, on a spiritual level. Am I resilient in life? Am I adapting to the stressors in my life? So to me, that's health. And on the flip side, the opposite of health would be feeling stuck, right? You're not adapting. You're having a failure to adapt. And I think people relate with that. You're trying to grow in life and you're feeling stuck. People relate with that. But then also on the symptom level, a lot of people have chronic symptoms and they're like, I don't get it. I've been doing these things and I just, it's not changing. It's stuck. So that's a good measure of health to me.
Yeah. All right. I agree. Those are good points. Maybe one way to illustrate this idea is you would think, well, a person who's physically healthy, Think like an athlete can adapt to physical stresses, like playing sports or something like that. Very stressful. Someone who's not healthy won't adapt well. More likely to get injured, more likely to get hurt, more likely to be super sore for like a whole week afterwards. Someone who's biochemically healthy can adapt well to environmental stressors, like say like harmful bacteria or a virus or something like smog or allergens or something like that. If you're healthy, your body can process and deal with it. Adaptability. Same with mental emotional stress, be the same thing. Someone who's mentally and emotionally fit can handle stress better. Stress doesn't wear them out as much. So yeah, I don't think health is like yes or no. I think it's kind of a process too, because it's very dynamic. So on one end, it's like a continuum. So on one end, you have optimized health, like Nick. No one else I've met besides him. And then on the other end, you have death and disease. And so we're somewhere on the continuum, and it's dynamic. Every little choice we make can move us one direction or the other. So to be healthy, I think means you're moving towards optimized health. And to be unhealthy means you're moving towards like death and disease. So
yeah. And, I think that really illustrates it to me, I think, quite a bit, Jake. Thanks for that. That was really, you painted the picture.
I'm happy to be here, man.
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, 1,000 words is worth a picture. So the picture's been painted. Thanks.
Dude, it's my pleasure. Okay. This is another kind of abstract one. What does holistic mean? We are the Holistic Brothers after all. We should know this.
This is a fantastic question. I think in a world where all of healthcare is becoming more and more specialized and very much mechanical, the thing is, that makes sense. That's a good thing to do because there's a lot of complicated pieces to the puzzle when it comes to the body.
Life is a very complex system. Your body, very complex system.
It makes sense to specialize. However, being holistic, you have the philosophy that I'm not going to guess what's really at the root of the problem for this person. It could be all kinds of factors because we are all kinds of factors. I have a body. I have a soul. I have a psyche. I have emotions. I have a mentality. I have a spirit. I have this energy. I have a biofield. Chakras, meridians, all of these things are involved. And so really at the root of any one of my symptoms could be one or a multitude of complications. So to be holistic means you're going to look at the whole person kind of maybe unbiasedly. You don't know what's really at the root of what needs to change or what's the next step for this person. So you're going to go with the body, with the intelligence of the way the body's expressing, and address the next thing for them to unlock the whole system.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're looking at a person as more than the sum of their parts, where a mechanistic approach would be person is just the sum of their parts. And if the person's not expressing health appropriately for, what's going on in their life at that time, then you have to think, well, one of the parts is broken, and then you go look at that. And sometimes that works exceedingly well, and sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's more complex than like one thing's off with someone, one thing's broken. So nerdy answer, you want my nerdy answer?
Yeah.
Well, holism, like where's that word come from? What's the root of it? And it's an Anglo-Saxon word, hol, H-O-L. And that word really means integrity. Now, follow that word down through history, that's also where we get the word health from. And that's also where we get the word whole from. And that's also where we get the word holy.
That's very interesting.
Interesting, right? So that makes sense. Back in the day, someone would be like someone who's fairly integrated, meaning they're aligned. Their body, their mind, their heart, their spirit's in alignment with themselves. That would be an integrated person, and that would probably be described as a holy person. And then at that time, like also healthy. Because we were looking at like athletes and people with like six packs and stuff that were in like men's health magazines. It was like, that person's got their life in order. Things seem to be sorted out. That's a healthy person.
Mm-hmm.
So holistic, that root is to be whole, to be integrated and aligned and unified as self. And so to do holistic work is kind of to figure out, well, what's creating disconnection,
Yeah.
trauma, right? False belief systems, just ego programming based on survival, which is typically based on what you've been through.
Yeah. I have found as a side effect of our work that we do, people become better people. I mean, I've noticed that in myself of getting this work done. And that's not what someone's focusing in on when they do the work. They're not like, this guy's kind of a jerk. Nick was a jerk. I want to make him a not jerk. Yeah, but I think that's true.
I've had assistants in the past that will get a new patient in and they'll be like, this person's rough to deal with. And I'm like, don't worry. Either they stop showing up or they become delightful to be around.
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
That's very interesting.
Either they disappear because they're like, don't want to do this kind of work, or they become wonderful. So
there you go.
Holistic. Do you want to read a couple?
Yeah, let's do it.
I left off here.
Okay, don't look over my shoulder, though.
Right.
Like I was doing BO. Okay, here's a great question from one of our listeners. I don't like taking a bunch of pills every day. Been there. Am I right?
I love it.
What are the essential recommendations for vitamins and supplements?
Essential. Okay, that makes sense because you have I get that complaint. I'm like, you want some supplemental support, and they're like, I don't want to take any more pills. I'm like, what are you taking? And they'll bring like a suitcase of pills they got from other doctors or from commercials or from talk shows, and it's like, yeah, that's too many. I wouldn't want to take that either.
Yeah,
I take quite a bit, but not all of them every day. Like my arsenal's pretty big, but if I was going to say fundamental or essential support. And again, I don't know you, because what I like to do is tailor recommendations to what the person's goals are, what their issues are, and what their budget is.
Yeah.
And what they're willing to do to get to their goals. And then I'll create a plan. But if I just don't know you and you're a person who lives on this planet of human origin, I got some essentials for you. You want it ready to hear?
Let's run through it.
Okay, right out the gate, take vitamin D. D3 would be the one that you want to buy. And what does that do? So many things. And I'm confident in recommending it because studies show the vast majority of people are vitamin D deficient. Now, your body can make vitamin D, as we know. And the sun doesn't give you vitamin D, by the way, but it does trigger a chain reaction chemically that tells your body to produce it. So in that sense, it's not a vitamin, is it?
It's more like a hormone, yeah.
Yeah, or like a pre-hormone. Yeah, your body can make it, but the research says you're not making enough, and it's so important. It does so many different vital functions in the body that it's like, yep, just take it.
Yeah.
And if you have the money and the resources, you can get blood work and see what your levels are, and you could cater. But if you don't have that, just take it. It's not an expensive thing to take or to buy. And it's possible to take too much, but if you read any of the studies where it's like vitamin D toxicity, they take a ton of it over a long period of time. So, yep, it's possible to take too much. Worst thing that happens if you do, tummy hurts. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. I would add on to that, though, because some people have genetic issues, and you find this a lot, A lot of these supplement companies are thinking about this, but vitamin A and vitamin K, K1, K2, help you absorb vitamin D. So you'll see a lot now. You could find a supplement that's like D, A, and K.
Yeah, if you don't like to take a lot of pills, you can go D, A, and K. That's one. The only problem is if you ever feel like you need to take a lot of vitamin D at once, like if you're run down, I like to mega dose for a day, meaning I take probably 10 times the recommended amount for a day until, I get through being run down. Hard to do that if you're combined. Okay. Second one.
But we are total dweebs about this, so.
True. Second one I think everyone should be taking is the magnesium.
Yeah, that's pretty fair to say, I think.
It's pretty fair to say. It's such a vital mineral. I mean, there's a few absolute vital minerals, one being sodium. That's pretty easy to get.
Yeah.
If you eat out at all or buy processed food, you're going to get plenty of sodium. But if you cook healthy, just put salt in your food. Especially you can get good, even better forms of salt.
Totally.
But magnesium's going to be the answer here because I'm trying to minimize supplements here. So magnesium, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of forms. The general rule of thumb is something that ends in an ATE because magnesium is not absorbable uh, through your gut lining, so you have to chelate it to some kind of chelating agent. So, like magnesium citrate, bromate, threonate, lactate, gluconate. Those general rule of thumb pretty good. A lot of times at stores, you'll see like magnesium oxide, something like that.
Yeah.
Not going to be that absorbable. So stay away from that. Otherwise, just get a magnesium. You need it. It used to be abundant in the food that we eat, but typical farm soil is going to be deficient in it, which means the food's going to be deficient in it. And that's like vitamin D across the board. People are deficient. And it's, again, and like vitamin D, it does 200, or I'd say it's involved in like 250 important chemical reactions in the body that your body won't do if it doesn't have magnesium. So huge multitasker and affordable to supplement with.
So we got D, specifically D3, and we got magnesium with an ATE on the back. What else do we got?
Let's keep it to 4, right? 4 seems essential. Maybe we'll throw in a 5th bonus one. Okay, third most important one would be an omega-3 fatty acid.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you agree? Okay.
Yeah.
So, again, vital for so many functions in the body, but particularly brain and heart health and nervous system health in general.
You can't go wrong with it. It's also, a great way to lower inflammation body-wide. Yeah, so you will feel better on enough omega-3, which is really cool. And statistically, people are very far away from the right ratio of omega-3 to omega-6s. And so this is just statistically, we know people need this.
Yeah, the data's in. Now, this one, you can go wrong. This one you want to spend a little more money on because studies show, your third parties that test your typical omega-3s that you get, and a lot of them, unfortunately, are oxidized, rancid, which is no bueno, or contain other contaminants. Like if you just get straight fish oil has problems in and of itself. So you want a company that's third-party verified for environmental toxins and for quality, because if it goes rancid, and it is kind of a delicate molecule, so it can go rancid for too much heat, too much light, too much oxygen, and then it won't be good for you anymore. So that's the one you want to spend. You want to spend your money on. Third-party verified. Okay. Fourth, for me, it's just a B complex. B vitamins, like the complex, not one. A lot of people are supplementing on like niacin or supplementing on like folic acid, and it's like those are good, but why not get the spectrum?
Yeah, and this is an area where you can really dive deep on different aspects of vitamin B and different forms of vitamin B, and they all are good to some extent. So, and you can't go wrong. You can get really good vitamin B supplements for not much money, for sure.
Non-expensive. To even get high quality ones, not expensive. And they do so much, including like energy production in the body. They're powerful mood regulators. And energy and mood would be enough to do it, but it's got a lot of functions in the body. Again, multitasker. So B vitamin's pretty good. I have a bonus one. Do you want to add a bonus?
Well, you first. I wasn't thinking about it.
Gut health is so important. And a lot of chronic health problems can be linked back to gut dysbiosis, so an imbalance of microbes. This can get a little more nuanced and tricky, but generally speaking, you can get a powerful probiotic that comes with prebiotic fibers, meaning food for because it's like you take probiotics, you're like planting in your garden, and then like the prebiotics is what like fertilizes it, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of good quality probiotics come with prebiotic material as well, which you can just get from eating a good diet. A lot of vegetables are fairly prebiotic, but that's a pretty good one to take for a lot of different issues in life. But here's why I would add it as essential. Everyone needs a healthy gut. If you don't have one, you're going to have health problems, big or small. There's going to be complications. And so not that taking probiotics solves it. It certainly doesn't. In some cases, it's like trying to put out a house fire with a bucket of water.
Yeah.
But It has helped a lot of people in my experience, including myself.
Very, very, very true. All right, I think I got a bonus one.
Oh,
And it's pretty obvious. It's vitamin C.
yeah.
So if vitamin C, because it just does so many things, it's an antioxidant. It helps a lot of pain issues go away for people and joint issues. It's really good for the immune system. Lots of people have issues with their immune system. And it's another thing you can always have on your shelf. A great book my wife and I love is written by Norman Cousins, where he basically he had this crazy poisoning of his body, heavy metal poisoning, and he was like kind of paralytic and had crazy pain. I don't remember all the details, but he cured it by just taking high levels of vitamin C and watching the Marx Brothers.
Yep, just laughter and powerful antioxidants.
Great book. Recommended to everybody. But yeah, vitamin C is an awesome thing people could take. It'll fix a lot of stuff.
Cool. What about multivitamins? Well, you can take quality multis, but typically if it's like you're taking one pill for a multi, you're not getting what you need.
And sometimes you might be getting something that's going to make things worse for you.
Yeah, so the problem with multis is wrong forms of vitamins, not enough of the vitamins that you need, and then like weird fillers and other products that you don't need. Now, I've taken multis. I've seen multis that are awesome. They're typically very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking upwards of $100 for like whatever unit they come in, and you're taking like 4 to 8 of them a day. So you're still taking a good amount of pills. Now, I like multis for trace mineral content. That's usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Well,
that could have been a nice bonus once, trace minerals. Next time.
All right, let's just move on. Reach out to us specifically if you want to know more about this stuff.
Okay, what's next? What's the next question?
I use my face to unlock this. Okay,
all right. So, what's the best way? Sorry for the background noise.
There's animals in the house.
There's animals. There's babies. This is a family show, by the way. So the next question: what's the best way to start your day to be happy and healthy?
Wonderful. Okay. Well, this is going to be different for your season in life because sometimes you don't have all the freedom to do whatever you want to do. But I'm going to speak idealistically and then more practically.
Okay.
So idealistically, this is what I did when I didn't have a child, but I like to get up at an appropriate time. Now, keep in mind, what works for your best friend works for your sibling, what works for your partner doesn't mean it's going to work for you. We have different chronotypes, meaning like different productivity at different times of the day, different kind of internal biological clock that allows us to sleep the best at certain times. But for me, I do pretty well early rising. So for me, I get up early enough, based on bedtime. But what I like to do first thing is connect. So this would be like meditation. This would be prayer. But for me, it's like get in my body, connect to gratitude, feel not alone in the universe, like feel part of creation, and then kind of map my day out in like a positive way. So it's like I can kind of see my day happening and everything unfolding in positive ways. Then, so it's like mind and heart. Then more mind, I like to kind of learn something, which could be book, could be audio, could be a video, while I have a little coffee. And then I like to work out. And I usually do the workout fasting. So coffee is just coffee. There's nothing else in it. And I like to get a good sweat. So now it's like body. I like mind, heart, spirit, body. Everything's fired up. And then, so what I like to do is appropriately stress myself. Okay. And a mindfulness exercise is kind of stressful. It's disciplining the body. Caffeine is a type of stress. And working out is definitely stress. And ideally, sunlight right in my eyeballs. And if we're being real idealistic to be happy and healthy, then it's like another stress would be like cold there. So heat stressful, like a sauna or just like a good workout. And then cold, like a cold shower. The whole shower doesn't have to be cold, but part of it, or you do a cold plunge or something. This is kind of an idealistic, like if you do this, like you're going to be feeling superb.
Yeah.
Maybe not day one, but that's the idea. We did a question earlier on adaptation and health. Like this is training your body to be more adaptable. Is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, just to add color, highlight one part of that is, there's a little essential choice that needs to be made first thing in the morning about who you are. And I think if you're clear about who you are and you have a high bar set for who you are, which might be, I am an adaptable person. I'm a resilient person. In every way and every day, I feel progressive, grow in life. Some of these might be called affirmations, but you're choosing who you are and how you want to live. And therefore, the way that you respond and you flow through your day is just set with that perspective in mind. That's really helpful for me. But
yeah, that affirmation is a good thing too, because you want to nourish yourself. Like, so when you do break your fast, have breakfast, you want nourishment, right? And that's a good way. Like, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, not because of how vital it is to have breakfast. It's because you can really screw up your day if you do it wrong. You can skip breakfast, or you just have something that's very nourishing. But that's what affirmations are too. You're feeding your mind, you're feeding your mentality and your heart nourishment, something that's true. So the opposite of that would be like go straight onto your phone and like absorb stuff that's garbage. It's junk food. So you want to nourish yourself before you start exploring off into other type of content that might not be as healthy for you.
Yeah, and that's another way of talking about choice. For me, at least, I want to choose who I am and not have others choose who I am for me. And I think it's okay for me to look at social media if I have that already in mind. If not, it will throw off my day. I'll be kind of just like, I got all this static in my brain and I feel kind of knocked off center.
That's idealistic. Practically speaking, Nick, can you do those things in the morning?
All of them?
Yeah.
Not every day.
No, I have a toddler. I can't do that stuff. My life's not my own.
Yeah.
So now it's easy to make excuses, and having a kid this last, year and a half, a lot of the excuses come from self-pity, feeling sorry for myself, and I can't work out. And then it's like, look how sacrificial I am. I'm being dad, take the morning shift. I get up early with the kid. And it's like, woe is me. So a lot of it is just excuses. Like when I'm feeling good about myself, when I'm feeling purposeful, like I can work out with him in the morning. I can start getting, movement into my body. I can do meditative stuff while with him. I can do prayer.
Totally.
I can do mindful practices while playing with him, while feeding him. And I can really align myself and get connected while being with my son. It's all doable, but when I don't do it, it starts with, I'm too tired. And then it's like, oh, I'm too sorry for myself, and life's harder, and I don't get to do what I want to do. And those are all excuses. It's harder with the kid, and it's harder when you don't have all the freedom of what I want to do when I want to do it, but it's doable. It takes more discipline.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, go with the flow a little bit, but,
Word. Next question.
Yeah,
face in here.
Okay, cool. Here we go. This is actually the last question we're going to answer from our listeners today. In your opinion, what's the next major health crisis we will face?
So we put on our prophet hats here. We predict the future. And my answer is going to be we're going to face a health crisis that's already happening. So it's not, I don't think we're going to
Nothing new. We're just starting to face it.
I think there's some things that we have to face. So right now, I guess the biggest priority, would you say, is like viral in nature?
That's the hot topic.
Okay. Well, I think we might have to start looking at underlying causes. And so for me, I would say it's inflammatory issues as a whole. So what happens is underlying in our body, you have things that have to go harmony, right? You have like acid and alkalinity, and you have things like inflammatory factors, anti-inflammatory factors, and like the body works well in harmony. And right now in our society, at least in our society, so there could be a different health crisis in different parts of the world, but in America, places like this, we have a significant inflammatory issue.
Yeah.
It's significant, and that contributes to all sorts of things like heart disease, like cancer, like diabetes, like strokes.
Yeah.
Autoimmunity could probably be linked to that as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All big concerns, and these are not new health problems. This has been the health problems for a long time, but it is hopefully coming to a crescendo. Like, we can't go much further than this, I don't think.
Yeah.
And we have the technology, we have the research, we have the data, we have the tools to face these and resolve them. We're not currently doing it. That's a little bit upsetting. I mean, we are. There are doctors that are doing it. There are therapists. There are individuals taking control of their own health, their own biology, and they're resolving this stuff on their own. But as a system, we're not.
Yeah.
And that's the next one. I think we just have to like all collectively say, hey, enough of this. This can be resolved. Let's do it. And then other health concerns that might be coming our way, like different viruses maybe, won't be as big a deal if we have that harmony in our body.
Yeah. I think I read a study showing statistically that Alzheimer's is going to bankrupt us by like 2050. And, that's with people who are alive right now. Obviously, it's people who have something to do about it, and they have some things in their bag to control this. Most things that affect our economy and our, whether or not a particular family goes bankrupt because of health care costs, the big debilitating diseases, most of them we can work with, we can prevent. Obviously, it's about taking some action before it's too late is the key. It's about taking action. I mean, it's never too late, but you have to take action, and you have to choose when you're going to do that. And a lot of people don't take action. They just choose to be, victim.
Yeah. So this gets to the true answer for me. I think the big health issue or the unspoken pandemic is an educational issue.
Yeah.
Largely speaking, we do not know how to care for ourselves and care for our family or our community. And that includes physicians too.
Yeah.
It's an educational problem. Like, we do not train on health. I would say we train on sickness and disease is where the majority of the training is, not health.
Totally. Yeah.
Okay. So we're in agreement, which means it's probably unanimous
Yeah.
to everyone listening. But I do think it's an educational problem. If we knew how to both understand when we're off, like reading the body, being connected to it, and say, like, ooh, something's not right, I have to make a new choice. That's part of the education, is just being a listener to yourself, and then also reading your environment, and then knowing, what's healthy physically for me, biochemically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and be able to troubleshoot on our own. That's the real health freedom. That's where we need to go. We're nowhere close to doing that right now as a society, but it's entirely possible. Fundamental health is not that complicated. So you don't really need doctors for it. You do need doctors for complex diseases and things like that, because that's nuanced. But the real health problem societally is, like, we don't know what's healthy. We think we do. Trust me, we do not. Otherwise, we'd be a lot healthier, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there you go.
So those are the questions we're going to answer today. Please keep sending in your questions. We will have answers for you. And yeah.
And we'll get better at this too. I keep looking at our monitor so I could see me and my brother, but we'll look at the camera eventually. We'll look at you guys better. We'll get better at this. So comments. Tell us how bad we are at this.
Yeah.
Tell us how we can do better. Tell us how much you love it. Feedback's good. And thanks for the support, guys. Share this with friends. And just keep those questions coming.
All right. Peace, everybody.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.